Amateur video, purchased by CNN and not made public until now, captured the confrontation between 6 Saginaw police officers and Milton Hall, a 49-year-old man who his family says suffered from serious mental health issues. Hall, seen in the middle of your screen, police say, had just had a run-in with a convenience store clerk. He was in a standoff with police and holding some sort of knife. A female officer is heard shouting. If you listen carefully, Hall is then heard continuing to yell at police. Hall seems agitated, but not intimidated by a police dog. Heard on the tape, a witness describes what he sees.
In the karate stands, about to go ham on them.
Then, as Hall appears to take a few steps, everything comes to a head.
Okay, today is Thursday, September 20th, 2018. I just been referred to Dave Lynch, Supervisor of Adult Services, by Elaine Stoutenberg from Lapeer DHHS, so I'm calling him now. Wish me luck.
Services.
Yes, is this Dave Lynch?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Lynch, my name is Rich. Elaine Stoutenberg from Lapeer DHHS told me to call you.
What can I do for you, sir?
I don't know. She told me to call you.
Okay, I haven't spoken to Elaine, so I'm not sure.
I don't know what's going on. I've got a problem with Lapeer DHHS, and I've had a problem with Steve Atkinson of Adult Protective Services, and I've been left without water, running water in my home since November, and I'm trying to file criminal complaint, and I don't know how I got through to you.
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to get my water. I'm trying to get my water turned back on from DHHS installed a faulty water heater that leaked twice. They fixed it once, and then the second time they ignored me. From November. Since November, and I've been without water since November. I contacted a repair guy, and also consumers came out, and they said that the water heater could have a broken bladder, but they installed it incorrectly. DHHS's guy wasn't a master plumber. He did it incorrectly. Didn't do it up to Michigan code. It leaked twice within within 6 months, and did $15,000 worth of damage to my home. And I've been without water ever since. And DHHS and also Adult Protective Services have left me to die since November. Steve Atkinson just bailed on me. I had no idea that I've been writing to him ever since, and then I found out that he's no longer in my area, and he lied to the Almont police and said that he had no idea that my water wasn't running, which is a lie. DHHS lied to the Michigan State Police and told them in May that they fixed my water heater and my roof, and they did neither one of them, and now I'm sitting here without water, and I filed a police report with the state police. somehow the report got lost, and the Lapeer prosecutor can't find it. They said that there's no crime, but you can't say there's no crime because I'm a victim of felony torture. And this has gone. This has gone way out of hand, and I can't. I'm trying to defend myself to survive, and I'm getting nothing but the runaround. Somehow, I don't know. I've had a case with. I filed a case over a year ago with the Department of Civil Rights, who jerked me around from August of 2017 until December, until I finally complained to Senator Mike Green's office, and they got on the case, and they said, okay, we do believe you have a case. We're going to open a file and we're going to investigate it. And that was in January. I filled out all the paperwork to have that done, and they assigned me a worker who's done absolutely nothing, and somehow he got involved in my case with DHHS, and back in July, and he sent me a bunch of questions that were referred to by DHHS that he was somehow mediating on, and he asked me to supply him all of the answers by 8/10. He sent it on 7/29. I sent it the next day, and asked him to respond receipt, and he never did. And then I sent him like 5 emails after that, and I haven't heard from him since that time, since August 1st. And then he sent me a letter just the other day stating that he never got my files, which is a lie, because I have copies that I sent to the senator, the state legislator, and the state police. So he's lying about that. Now I can't even get a hold of him. I've left messages last week. When you call his number, I called yesterday, and he says it's Friday, which was, he hasn't picked up his voicemail since last Friday. So I have no idea what he's done, how he got involved with DHHS, or how that interacted with DHHS. But so far, I've got no way of getting food. I've got no way of getting water, and I have no way of getting medical attention. And everybody, the state police got involved. DHHS lied to the Michigan State Police and told them in May that they had my water running, and they fixed my water heater and the roof, and which is a lie. And I'm no lawyer, but I'm trying to represent myself. This jeopardized my life since May, and according to my understanding of the law, that's felony torture. And I'm sorry, felony perjury. They lied to the state police, and the state police closed the case. So then I went back on 7/17. I went into the state police, and I tried to file a report, and they got on the case. They didn't even take the whole report, because I'm a victim of Social Security Medicare fraud. They signed me up for Medicare that I can't use because I have no transportation to get to my doctors. DHHS knew all about it. They arbitrarily signed me up for some program that paid for it for a while. Then they said that I didn't send some paperwork back in time, so then they took it back. Then they signed me up again, and they manipulated my Social Security Medicare without my consent, against my will, and took money out of my account.
Look, DHHS has absolutely nothing to do with Medicare.
That's not true.
Medicare is a federally funded program.
No, that's not
Medicaid.
That's not true. I'm talking about Medicare supplementary program that they paid for a couple of months, and then they took it back, and then they said that I didn't send some paperwork back. Sir, I've got many issues, and that's just one of them. But I also talked to Medicare, and Medicare said I do have a claim, and they're investigating it. So that's just one other issue. My issue is I got the runaround. I applied for services with DHHS in September of 2016, and all they did for me is they gave me $330 in food stamps, and they cost me $18,000 out of my pocket. And I'm out with a house I'm in a mobile home that's unfit to live in. I've got to move out right now. And DHHS has known all about this and have done absolutely nothing. My house is totally destroyed. And that's why I thought the Almont Police said that they're going to that you had some kind of special fund, and that I should call Elaine Stoutenberg. When I called her, she said to call you. So I don't know what's going on. Nothing's happening.
So I'm trying to follow along here. The Almont Police told you to call DHS because we have some fund that you can get money out of?
Right. Here's the situation. DHHS supplied a plumber that was going out of business, and he did the plumbing wrong. It wasn't done up to Michigan code, state of Michigan code. He didn't do the job. He did a complete different job than the other three plumbers that were master plumbers that supplied quotes that were 37% less than the plumber that DHHS used. I contend it was a crony of Rhonda Lansing of DHHS and I have proof that she gave them the deal before it was ever even approved. They destroyed my home, and now they're out of business. They're telling me that I got to take them to court, and somehow civil court's going to settle it. And in the meantime, I've been without water since November, and that's torture. I'm disabled. I have no way of getting food, medical attention, or water. And I'm just. Can
I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Why can't you get food? I don't understand that. Why can't you get medical attention?
I don't have legal access to my vehicle. The state of Michigan won't let me drive my vehicle until I pay them $6,000. And so I'm.
What does that have to do with DHS? I'm not sure how.
Well, you just said that I have a vehicle, but I can't drive it, so I'm incapacitated, and I have no transportation to get food, water, food or medical attention with my doctors, and I haven't had that since 2016. That's why I never wanted Medicare. I never signed for it, and they signed me up arbitrarily, and they took it away from me. Then they took out money in June of 2017 out of my Social Security check that I needed to pay to have my roof fixed, and I didn't get my roof fixed. And as far as felony torture, I was without water for a month and a half, and I asked Rhonda Lansing from DHHS to supply me drinking water to survive. I'm disabled. I can't get around, and she refused. And I asked how was I supposed to get water to survive, and I was told to boil water, go shovel snow, boil water, and drink that to survive, which I did. I slipped on the ice, and I hurt my back and my neck. That's two elements of felony torture, and the third element was when my water heater failed in June. When I discovered it failed in June, and I contacted DHHS, they refused to send anybody out to fix it, and they didn't send anybody out until August 29th. And in the meantime, I was boiling water to survive, and I scalded my hand. And they sent
somebody out on August 29th. Who did they send out, and what did they do?
They sent out Steve Atkinson, who was my
On August 29th?
Yep, of 2017, who came out with their plumber, and I videotaped the entire thing, and I had talked to 3 master plumbers that told me that they did it all wrong and that it was just going to leak again, that if they don't fix it correctly, it was going to fail. And I videoed all this. They brought the plumber in, and he refused to do it. All he did was he patched one thing that leaked it leaked twice. He patched that again, and he was done. And I said, wait a minute, I need you to fix it. He said, well, I'm not going to do it. And I asked Steve Atkinson to make him do it, or it was going to just leak again, which the plumbers told me it was going to happen. And Steve Atkinson ignored me. When I asked him that I had water damage that damaged my floor and my increased water bill, and I said, that's not my fault. Who do I sue? And Steve Atkinson told me, he said, well, you can go call the Better Business Bureau, or you could sue the. I said I need to sue somebody, and he said, well, I could sue the state. So I've been trying to do that since August. And as far as this plumber goes, they were going out of business when Rhonda Lansing hired these people. I found out all about them. They were a shoddy company that did crummy work and had so many complaints that they went out of business. And that's what they did. They improperly installed a water heater. Refused to turn on the water. I had to pay $150 out of my pocket. That Rhonda Lansing refused to compensate me for. I had a $700 consumer's insurance policy on the water heater that stated that they would pay $700 of my water heater replacement, and Porter and Heckman had an agreement where they would accept that, and I tried to get Rhonda Lansing to apply that $700 towards my $1,500 one-time home repair allowance. And she ignored me. And she ignored the water. I had to pay $150 out of my pocket to turn on the water. And she lied about that and said that I sent that in after or before the work was ever done. So she cheated me out of that. So, and then the water heater that they installed leaked twice and caused $15,000 worth of damage. And when I contacted both Steve Atkinson and also the 2 people in DHHS, Rhonda Lansing and Tanya McCrory, in November, they just ignored me. And I said, what do I do? And so I suffered until May, and I called consumers. And they came out and they said, because when they turned on the water, it was shooting water all over the place, and they said they can't determine anything until I have the improper plumbing done. And so they said you could call out a repair guy, and I contacted both DHHS and APS, and they ignored me. So I contacted a local repair guy. He came out and gave me a repair estimate and with the damages of $15,000. I sent both the consumer's report and also the estimate to DHHS and also Adult Protective Services in May, and they ignored me ever since that time.
Just like APS is part of DHHS. So
right.
the terms you're throwing around are all over the map.
Okay.
It sounds to me like you have a legal issue. It sounds to me like you have a legal issue.
I'm disabled. I'm using somebody else's phone, and I've been without water since November. And this Rhonda Lansing is either criminally incompetent to do her job to force this supplier on me that was going out of business at the time. Now, why didn't DHHS do something for me in November? I'm the recipient. How am I supposed to be handling anything?
I would assume that you would need to file legal documents to pursue a legal path.
To who? With who? With who am I supposed to? It wasn't.
If you feel like you've been violated, I would think that you would file them with the court or the police department.
I have.
If you have criminal issues.
I have. And I just told you what happened was first what happened was the state police. I filed a complaint for Freedom of Information files for DHHS and Adult Protective Services. There's two people that I talked to, Steve Atkinson and Diane Rehe or something like that. I asked for their files, and also the people that I talked to in Adult and DHHS, asked them for their complete files, and they ignored me. And that's been since December. Who did you ask? There's nothing. I asked DHHS and then
DHHS is not a person. Who did you ask? Who did you request it from? Because there's a department that handles that.
I know, and
DHHS.
Okay, what I'm saying is this is. We can go through. I've got many issues, and if you want to spend about 5 hours, I can explain them. But the thing is, I got a response saying they need more time. Then I got another response saying that the state police got involved, and then all of a sudden, no one responded whatsoever since January. And I keep asking over and over again, what happened to this, and no one will respond.
Who are you asking? You said you keep asking over and over. Who are you asking? What happened?
Well, the state police. I've asked.
The state police wouldn't have anything to do with the Freedom of Information Act.
I'm not a lawyer. I've asked everybody under the sun that I've been talking to, including DHHS and Adult Protective Services, who I've sent copies of letters to. I've got the. My problem is I'm talking to all these people, and no one will do their jobs. That's just like somehow this man from the Department of Civil Rights got involved. He asked me to answer all these questions, which I did, and I did that a month and a half ago. And now he sends me a letter stating he never got it. You're just jerking me around until I die. There's nobody that will help me survive. This is torture. It's felony torture. You can't do this to somebody.
Well, I don't understand what it is that you want from me. I don't have anything to do with the gentleman
sir, I have no idea.
Doing an investigation.
Sir, I have no idea why. Elaine Stoutenberg told me to call you.
I'm Elaine's supervisor, so I'm trying to figure out what
they supply. They supplied a water heater that through Rhonda Lansing's buddy that failed twice within 6 months of the warranty period, and they bailed on me and left me with a house that's destroyed. And the whole thing, it was an inside job and if you want to go through it, I'll go through the whole installation process, because she gave that, she wanted me to get 3 estimates, I got 4. She immediately sent out this guy that Porter and Heckman came out and said, we got the job, and came and did some kind of faulty work that he was going to get my water running. When he found out, he rigged this system up, and then he found out that the water was frozen, and he said, we don't do that kind of work. You're going to have the water heater, you're going to have the water frozen, unthawed, and then we'll come back. So then I contacted one of the other 3 that supplied quotes that included doing that, and I got a estimate for $150, which I sent to Rhonda Lansing, and she sat on it, and then when she got the approval of it, of doing it, she told me that I had the work done before it was approved, so she denied the claim. And she also gave that deal to Porter and Heckman, her buddy, that was 37% higher than the going rate that did a job that was not up to Michigan code. That's why the other three plumbers that showed up looked at it and said, "This is going to leak. It's done all wrong." And they didn't include fixing the damaged insulation, and it was a complete scam. If anybody, and I've got proof of this, if I can't get my issues resolved with the state of Michigan, I'm going to put this all on the internet and show the American people how Lapeer County is ripping off taxpayers and leaving disabled senior citizens to die. I've tried everybody under the sun trying to get my issues resolved. I went to Gary Howell's, State Legislator Gary Howell's town meeting hall in August, and tried to get my issues resolved. He says, "Well, we got to go to the proper channels." I said, "I've tried the proper channels and I'm getting nowhere." And he said, "There's nothing I can do," and he called the police on me and had me thrown out. I've tried everybody under the sun. I just told you, and I have proof that that DHHS lied to the state police, or the state police is lying to me. Because they said that DHHS told them that my water heater, they fixed my water heater and my roof in May. That's a lie. I have proof of that. You want to see that? I have proof that Steve Atkinson told the Almont police that he thought that my water heater was fixed, which is a lie, because I've been writing him. I've been writing him ever since and after I sent him all my paperwork in May, and he just ignored me. Everybody's just been ignoring me with the concept that I'll just die.
I don't know that people are ignoring you. I don't know that you're contacting the right people. Like congressman said, you need to go through proper channels. You tell me what the proper channels are. They installed it. They installed the water heater. It wasn't against my will. I didn't want them. It was against your will. They forced the water heater.
Yeah, I told her to use anybody but them, because the other guys were telling me that they were doing it all wrong. And Rhonda Lansing refused and forced this plumber on me, and the guy was going out of business at the same time. Why is it my responsibility when the thing failed once that they refused to send anybody out? And that was in June. I called her, and she just let it sit for 2.5 months without water. Finally, I complained again, and Steve Atkinson came out with the plumber, and I have a video of it. He can't lie and say that.
The plumber and what?
And all he did,
the plumber and what?
And the plumber, the plumber did was he fixed one little leak. And I told him, I said that you can't do that because it needs to all be replaced. And I explained that I had the plumbers tell me exactly what to say and tell him how to do it, and he just ignored me. Steve Atkinson also he came to my house like a week before, and I showed him there was 2 leaks. And he saw that. But when the plumber came out, when he turned on the water, he could only see one of the leaks. The other leak wasn't leaking, so he refused to fix it. They just tried to do any kind of sloppy job possible and get out. And the reason is they were going out of business at the time. How could that be a preferred vendor? She used them as a preferred vendor, and they were going out of business. Now, how can I sue anybody that if they're going out of business? Now, when I contacted the state police in July, I said, I just found out they're going out of business. How can I sue anybody? I have no transportation. I'm disabled, and I don't have access to a phone. Essentially, I'm incapacitated in my home. I have no way of getting food. I have no way of getting to my doctors, and I have no way of getting water. And this has gone on since November, and I've been ignored by everybody. And there's nobody that will tell me who to call.
It
depends on what issues you're dealing with.
You've
described a dozen different issues, and they don't all have anything to do with DHS.
Well, so I'm trying to explain to you my whole situation, and it's not easy, and it's only getting worse, sir.
Okay, but it sounds like you have legal channels that you need to go through.
Sir, I need my water. I need my water turned on since November, and no one will tell me how to do it. What are the legal channels? Why don't the legal channels tell me what to do so I can get this done? Why didn't anybody in November contact me? Why did they ignore me from DHHS and Adult Protective Service? Why? How could this guy, who's supposed to be my Adult Protective Services guy, abandon me, just bail on me? And on August 31st, when he came to my home, I told him I want to file a criminal complaint against Rhonda Lansing of DHHS, and he said okay, and he said, do you want me to take you to the Almont Police? And I said, no, I don't want to go to the Almont Police. I want to go to the State Police. And he said, okay. And then he said, well, I don't have time to do it now. We'll do it some other time. So then I chased him for a month, and he said he was going to take me. And then all of a sudden he said, no, I'm not going to take you. I have copies of all.
If you contact the State Police, they should come to your home to take a report.
I'm talking about last August. And he basically just bailed on me. And he was also my mandated reporter. And when I asked for his files, he refused to supply his files. I'm a victim according to what I understand as far as Adult Protective Services procedures manual. I'm a victim of felony torture.
Adult Protective Services manual doesn't ever refer to anything called felony torture. I know policy backward and forward.
Well, I'll have to dig it out. But what I'm saying is what I found. I'm being tortured.
Then I believe that you should be contacting law enforcement.
I did.
Okay, and that's the department to go through. That's the proper channel to go through.
And I'm telling you something. I'm getting the runaround. Like I told you, the state police told me that DHHS said one thing, which was a lie. And either the state police are lying, because then when they closed the case in May, I refused to. They said, well, there's nothing we can do. They said it's done. It's a closed case. So I marched in on July 17th to the state police, and I tried to file a report. But my issues are lengthy, and I'm sorry that's the way it is, but it's not my fault. And we got halfway through the conversation. We didn't even get into the Social Security fraud, but they took my statement, and they said they were going to investigate it. So then a couple days later, the two state police guys came to my house, and they said, well, we're checking on you, and they said, well, this isn't going to go anywhere. Why don't you just fix it yourself? He said, this isn't going to go anywhere. And I said, I'm disabled. I can't fix this thing. And it's not. It was under warranty, and it wasn't me that supplied it. It was DHHS. So then they said okay, and they left. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, they sent me that trooper sent me an email saying that they presented it to the prosecutor, and he said that no crimes were committed. So that was the end of the case. And that's impossible because I have, let me see, felony torture, felony perjury, felony Social Security fraud, and you can't, and I have proof that they lied to the state police. So then when I called, they said, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do. So I called the prosecutor, and the prosecutor at first they couldn't even find the report. So then when they said, call the state police, we don't have anything. So I called the state police, and then they that was over a holiday weekend, so they called me back, and they said, oh yeah, they got it, and but it's a I forget what they said, but they said there's nothing. I can't remember what they said, but then I called back, and the lady can't find the file. So, and because I call back because there's no way that they can say that there's been no crime committed, because I have proof that that somebody, and I don't know if it was the state police lying. That's where I'm stuck. I'm in the middle of and I have proof that government officials are lying, that threaten my life. Steve Atkinson told the Almont police that he thought my water, that he wasn't aware that I had a problem with my water heater, which is a lie. I have proof of that, and then I have proof that either DHHS lied to the state police, or the state police are lying to me. And I have proof.
Issues that you have with law enforcement and need to be dealt with through law enforcement. There's nothing that we can do about them not following through on something.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, how do I get my water heater fixed? You people supplied a water heater using a substandard supplier that failed, that was going out of business at the same time that they installed it. The thing failed twice within the warranty period. What am I supposed to do? I'm disabled. Would you expect quadriplegics to go and try to handle this? That's your job.
I don't know that there's any documentation anywhere that indicates that your water heater would have failed, that it would have been anything to do with the Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm saying it was done improperly. Sir, we can sit here arguing back and forth. I've got everything documented. I have everything documented that somehow Department of Civil Rights got involved. Like I told you, and I sent him. Who from DHHS would have gotten this Department of Civil Rights involved?
I have no idea.
Because
I've never dealt with the Department of Civil Rights.
I know. He said he sent me a form. He said the respondent from DHHS said they did this, and this. He was trying to debunk all of my statements, and one by one I answered all of his questions, and because I'm trying to file a complaint against DHHS. And so I answered all of his questions. I sent it back, and here a month and a half later, I find out that this guy's out to lunch. He's I don't know if he's even working anymore, and I don't know. I got to start from scratch with them. I'm fighting a multifaceted battle against people that could care less if I live or die, and it's cheaper to let me die because that way you have more money in your budget. How are you protecting? How are you protecting?
Civil Rights Department.
How are you
need to deal with that department?
I'm talking about every department is failing, and you're Adult Protective Services, and I'm a vulnerable, disabled senior citizen, and I've been physically and financially abused.
If you feel that's the case, you would need to call our centralized intake and make a referral.
I've done that already.
Okay. And what's happened with that?
Nothing.
Okay. Every case is not assigned. They determine whether the case meets the criteria or not.
Sir, the water. I don't have water. I don't have water. What would you do if you were stuck in a house without water? What would you do?
I'd probably find a way to get it fixed.
Okay, how? Well, if I need DHHS, that means that I don't have money, and like I told you, they supplied $330 in food stamps and cost me $18,000 out of my pocket, and I'm trying to file a claim against DHHS for that because this other company's out of business.
With who?
What?
Who are you filing a claim with? Who are you filing a claim with against DHHS?
Anybody that I can. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
Probably how this civil rights person got involved, I would assume.
Why don't you tell me what I have to do to survive? Here's my situation again. I'm using somebody else's phone. I'm living in a home that's totally uninhabitable, made that way by DHHS using a substandard supplier that was going out of business that did incorrect work against my will that was 37% higher than commercial rates. Left me stranded. They patched it once in August, and in November when I called them, they ignored me, and I've been without water ever since. I'm disabled, and I have no transportation to get medical attention or even food, and I'm just being left to die. And you're Adult Protective Services specialist. You're not supposed to be trying to debate me. You're supposed to be trying to help me. I'm asking you for help.
Sir, you've spelled out a dozen different issues and a half a dozen different departments.
I know.
And I don't have the ability to deal with 99% of that.
That's the problem. It's not my fault that the government is full of departments that are totally inefficient. And that can't relate to themselves. That the Elmont police couldn't contact the state police because they're on a different frequency, so they had to go with what the state police said. I can't. How long can I survive? How many more months can I survive without food, water, or medical attention? I'm being ignored to death on purpose. You're a Adult Protective Services supervisor. I'm asking you, how do I get this resolved?
Well, the only answer I have for you would be to call a centralized intake and make the referral. If you're being a victim of abuse or neglect.
I did that, and I left a message,
okay.
and I got nothing. Now what do I do?
You would continue to contact them until you get through. I didn't realize that they were able to take a message there. I thought you had to stay on hold until they...
No, I left a message, and they said they would contact me within 72 hours if they made a claim. Sir, I can't go through this anymore. I've got you on the phone right now. Let's get this resolved. You tell me.
No.
Hey, I
don't have the ability to resolve it.
Who does?
If you are a victim of abuse or neglect, the proper channel is to call centralized intake.
And I just told you. I just told you. I got their phone number, and no one called me back. Now, assume that's not working. What's the next step? Why don't you put me on hold and call somebody, and let's three-way this and get this done. I'm using somebody else's phone right now, and I don't have access to anything. I'm being put to death, and the state of Michigan is ignoring people because the more people that die, the stronger that makes your budget look. And I'm not going to let this happen, sir.
Well, it seems to me that you have some legal issues you would need to...
No, it's not legal issues. How can you say that legal issues when I have basic...
You feel that we're not doing the job...
I'm saying I don't have... Sir, I don't have water. I don't have water. Help me. Help me.
I just told you were called to
I don't have water. I've done that. And I tried to file a complaint with Elmont Police. The Elmont Police said call Elaine Stoutenberg because they got some kind of special fund. She's going to take care of you. And I called her, and then she said, well, I don't know. Here, you got to call this guy. So I call you, and you're telling me to call this number that I called, and no one responded. There's nobody working. Now I need you to get on the phone and help me. You're Adult Protective Services. I
can give you the phone number to contact them.
I just told you. I called them, and they never bothered calling me back. You have to understand that the government's falling apart.
You have to understand that there's a limit to the things that we are able to do, sir.
Sir, you're not doing anything. You've done nothing. You have done nothing. You've done nothing to me. I told you I called them, and they said that they would respond back to me within 72 hours, and they didn't. If there was a claim,
then you would call them again,
sir. I just told you I'm using somebody else's phone. I got you on the phone. I got a live person. Why don't you patch me through to somebody that can hit that we can talk to? Are you going to do your job?
Through ability.
Are you going to do
you a number to call?
I don't. I just told you I called them and they don't respond. Now what's the next step? Where do I get a new? Where do I get a new Adult Protective Services agent and a mandated reporter over here right now, so I can get this resolved? Steve Atkinson bailed on me, and I want to file a complaint with you then because he committed felony perjury.
That's a legal issue, and you would file it with law enforcement.
I'm filing with you. You're a department manager.
But
what?
I don't have the legal authority to take that complaint. That is a legal issue.
You mean to tell me you're a supervisor, and if you find out that somebody that one of your agents physically abused somebody, there's nothing you can do? I'm telling you that Steve Atkinson physically abused me.
Okay, I am telling you then the response is you would contact law enforcement.
And I just told you I did.
Okay, that's where the problem lies then, not with the Department of Health and Human Services. If you didn't get the response you want from law enforcement, then follow up with law enforcement.
Because DHHS lied. I'm having everybody lie to me. Now I'm asking you, what's the next step when I'm stuck? And everybody, what everybody's basically doing is telling me, hey, there's nothing we can do, just die. But do you understand? I pay taxes, Mr. Lynch, all my life. I've lived in Michigan all my life. You owe me. I refuse to be. I'm talking to Adult Protective Services that's telling me that I got to call some number that's not in service, and that's the end that you can do, and that's not good enough, sir.
Well, it absolutely is in service. It's in service 24 hours a day.
What's
365 days a year.
And it doesn't work. If they didn't call me back, they didn't say. Apparently, they said, "Why don't you find out? Why don't you find out why the Department of Civil Rights didn't contact me back? Give me your email address, and I'll send you the files that."
I don't have anything to do with the Department of Civil Rights. If you have an issue with them, you would follow up with them.
The Department of Civil Rights got involved with a DHHS claim that I've made. Do you understand that?
Not from us. I don't understand your connection there at all.
I don't either. I don't either. I did. I'm telling you something. This Department of Civil Rights sent me a letter stating that DHHS, as a respondent, stated, and he claimed I had numerous issues that he said they did this, they did this, they did this, they did this. Please respond with your retort, your response to their allegations, which I did. And he said send it. He sent me a letter on 7/29. I sent it back on 8/1. That was a month and a half ago. I sent him numerous letters after that time, and the guy just disappeared. He just stopped responding to me. It's not my fault. So then I finally I wrote a nasty letter, and I said you got to respond to me. And he said I never got your emails, which is a lie. And I have proof of that too, because I sent copies to the senator and the congressman and the state police. So this guy's just out and out lying. So then now this guy just won't respond to me. When I call, I don't even know if he works for the department anymore, because when you call a number, he says today's Friday. It's been saying that all week. So then I called his manager and left a message. She hasn't returned my call. There's only so much I can do, and you can't say that. You can't say that when you're sitting and when you're drowning and you're surrounded by a pool full of lifeguards sitting drinking martinis, and I'm screaming for help, and you're saying there's nothing you can do for me. That's not good enough.
I didn't say there's nothing that can be done. I said you need to go through the proper
I just
channels.
told you the proper channels. The proper channels don't work. The proper channels don't work. You think I'm lying to you? I've got copies of everything. Here's the situation, Dave. I'm completely meticulously accurate, and I file everything. I've got proof of everything I've said, and no one can deny it. That's why I'm being ignored. DHHS is responsible for installing a water heater against my will that was done incorrectly, and they need to be responsible for the damage that was caused. They chose a plumber against my will. I didn't want this guy. They forced me. They said that's the only one that they would approve. So they installed it, and it failed. That's not my fault. And they've got to be responsible for it. Now, that's what I thought these funds are for. How DHHS has got to be responsible for this. Like I told you, I'm out $18,000 and they gave me $330. The more people you do that to, you can balance the budget real quick. Just murder a bunch of old people. You're leaving me homeless. My home is destroyed, and I'm homeless. I have no way of getting anywhere, and I'm dying, and I can't. I have no water, and all I'm doing is getting people like you saying there's nothing I can do. Good luck.
I didn't say there's nothing I can do. Good luck. I said you need to go through the proper channels.
I just told you the proper channels don't work.
You need to pursue it. Yeah, I don't have any access.
Sir, why don't you do this?
Civil rights department. That's like calling Kroger and demanding that they do something about Meijer. We're not even the same entity. I don't have anything to do with.
How can you say?
Returned your call.
How can you say that when he got involved with DHHS? You're saying that DHHS and APS are the same thing. So I'm telling you, I'll send you a copy of what he sent me and all the questions, and I'll send you a copy of what I sent him, and so you know what I'm talking about. What's your email address?
I don't need a copy of any of that.
You're just saying you're Adult Protective Services, and you're saying that you don't understand how he got involved. I'll show you how he got involved. I have no idea how he got involved. The reason he got involved because there's nobody in charge. You people are committed felonies that you won't be responsible for. They committed felony torture, and I'm being put to death rather than having anybody address it.
It sounds to me like you would want to have perhaps some legal counsel.
Okay.
Have you contacted an attorney at all?
How am I supposed to get an attorney? I don't have money. I've contacted every legal service that the state of Michigan offers, and they can't help me.
Why can't they help you?
They say that they can't address my issues. I sent them my issues, and they said that we looked at it. We can't help you. You can't, sir. Sir, let me tell you something.
That would indicate that there's not a case. Correct?
No. Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that DHH or Department of Civil Rights said that I have a case, and they've been sitting on it for a year? And you're telling me that you have no idea how they got involved. I'm telling you, I'll show you. And if you don't want to, then give me your supervisor.
If I don't want to, what? They're not the same department as us.
I'm telling you, I don't know how they get involved.
You have an issue with them, then you need to follow up with them. You just said you contacted this gentleman and you contacted the supervisor. That would be the proper channel.
Okay, let me ask you this. How did DHHS get involved in the first place? You can't answer that.
No, I can't.
Okay, find out. I'll send you the email. What he sent me. What you're trying to do is get out of the job. You're trying to get out of doing any work. You're telling me to, just like Gary Howell did, you got to contact the proper channels. The proper channels don't work. You can't say that.
Gary Howell is.
He's a state legislator.
Okay. Well, if enough people tell you got to follow the proper channels,
and the propers don't work, then that's all. That is a blow off.
Well, if you feel that you're being abused and blown off by all these different departments, my recommendation would be to contact an attorney.
I want you.
Law enforcement is doing their job.
No, sir, listen to this. Thank you for your email. I sent you an email dated 7/24 with a position statement from the respondent. The respondent is DHHS. I asked for a response in a rebuttal of their allegations, giving you a 10-day period to respond, which is August 3rd. I didn't receive a response from you, so I'm moving forward with the case. He got involved with DHHS. He sent me a. I'll send it all to you. This is DHHS. This has nothing to do with a lawyer. You're telling me that you don't know how the Department of Civil Rights got involved. I'm telling you, I'll show you how they got involved, so you can explain to me how they got involved, so you can find out where this guy is and why he didn't respond to me. And if you don't want to do it, give me the number of somebody else from Adult Protective Services.
Sir, you would need to try to contact the person at the Civil Liberties or whatever that department is.
I just told you that he's talking to the Department of Civil Rights. You're saying that, or Department of DHHS. You saying you don't know how that could be, and I'm telling you I'll show you how it can be, and you're saying you don't want to know.
You just said you don't know how it happened. How are you going to show me how it happened if you don't know how it happened?
I didn't say that. I said I'll send it to you, and you can explain to me how it happened. I don't know how it happened. I'll show you how I'll show you the proof, and then you find out who contacted him and why nothing happened.
It says he said that he's moving forward with his case, correct?
No, he did that. He said that
That's
he did.
What you just told me. You just read that. You just read that to me.
Right. That was a month and a half later after I sent him the first paperwork. He sat on the paperwork. I responded to him with DHHS's responses, and I sent it to him on 8/1, and I said send me a proof that you acknowledgement that you received it, and he never responded. So then I sent him, I believe, like 5 additional further information regarding my case, and he never responded. So I finally I complained, and I got a letter from him stating that he never got it, and that he's going forward on the case, which is a lie. The problem is I can't deal with liars. I can't defend myself against liars. I can't defend myself against Steve Atkinson lying to the Almont Police. I want to make a complaint with the Department of Adult Protective Services against Steve Atkinson. Who do I talk to?
I can try and find you a number for somebody in Lansing.
So
I don't know.
You won't help me?
Well, I just said I can try and find you a number for somebody in Lansing.
Why don't you just take the case? Why don't you just take the complaint?
And do what with it? I don't have. What do you want me to do with it?
I don't know. You work for the Department of Adult Protective Services, and you found out that one of your agents is a liar. That put my life in jeopardy.
I just found out that a gentleman that called me and kept me on the phone for an hour and a half this morning is accusing somebody that works for the department of being a liar.
No.
You've also accused the Civil Liberties Department of being liars, the Police Department of being liars.
No,
everybody that you've spoken about.
No, when I'm telling you, no, you're not listening to me, sir. I'm telling you that the Almont Police told me that Steve Atkinson said that he had no knowledge of my water heater failing on me, which is a lie, because he's been getting emails from me ever since it failed in November. He lied to the state police, or he's lied to the Almont Police. You can call them to prove that, and you can call the Michigan State Police, and I'll give you the troopers. I dealt with 2 troopers and the first trooper stated that DHHS in May told him that they fixed my water heater and my roof, which is a lie, and by telling the state police that left me in jeopardy from May until now, and that constitutes felony torture. Now, you're Adult Protective Service. You know the law.
Sir, if you feel you've been the victim,
I know you. I know. Call the number that no one responds, so you can go back to sleep. You're not helping me, sir. You're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. Sorry, there's nothing we can do. It's not my job. Good luck in the future. Goodbye. I'm asking, are you? I don't know who you are, or you're a supervisor of adult services. If you don't want to help me, who's your supervisor?
I'll be happy to give you my supervisor's name and phone number, sir.
Are you going to help me or not? Are you going to help me or not?
I've given you all the help that I can give at the moment.
You haven't done anything, sir. You haven't done anything.
I've told you the proper channels that you need to go through for the various complaints that you have.
And I just told you I went through all of them, and I've gotten nowhere. And I told you why.
So then you need to follow up with them.
Follow up with what? I call the same number over and over again? That doesn't work?
Yes, until you get an answer.
No, you know what? Why don't you do your job? Why don't you do your job and get involved, sir? Because so far you've done absolutely nothing. Are you a supervisor? Can you supply me another Adult Protective Services agent?
No, I can't.
Well, who
Not
can?
Without a complaint being called into centralized intake.
I just did. I just told you. You think I'm lying to you? Why don't you call the number I just said, why don't you find out what happened to the case? I'm not lying to you. You know what? I just called the number. You must have a much better contact than that number to contact and find out what happened to it. Why don't you contact them and find out what the status is of it, and I'll call you back in 15 minutes. Is that fair?
No, you can contact me.
I just told you. You must have somebody better than that.
I have the same number as you.
Then call somebody else from that department with another number, because that number doesn't work.
Well, apparently it does. If you made a complaint already, you just said you made a complaint,
and no one contacted me back. Sir, did I interrupt your nap or something? Or are you going to help?
Now, you know what, sir? I've been on the phone with you for an hour and a half.
You've done nothing. You haven't offered me anything. What you've done is you've blown me off. Call the proper channels. Call this one. Call that one. There's nothing I can do. And good luck. You're not doing anything for me. I just told you one of your workers committed perjury to the state or to the Almont Police.
You just said that he committed a crime. That would be something that you would follow up with law enforcement.
And
you believe you're a victim of a crime.
I am talking to law enforcement. I'm talking to you.
I'm not law enforcement. I'm not law enforcement.
Is it a crime for an Adult Protective Services agent to lie to the Almont Police?
If that's a proven fact, I would assume it probably is, but I'm not an attorney and I'm not a police officer. Well, contact them.
No, here's what you do. Why don't you contact the policeman? His name is Leo Hager, and he can prove it to you. Now you're a supervisor.
If he can prove that a crime's been done to you and he's not doing anything, then you need to follow up.
No. Here's what you do. You contact Leo Hager. I'll give you his phone number. He's a Almont policeman, and you have him tell you what he told me about Steve Atkinson. That's fair enough. Okay? His name is Leo Hager. You just call him, because that way we can get this done. And then I'll call you back.
What done?
I just told you.
That way we can get what done?
Proof that he lied.
Proof is in a court of law, sir.
Proof is what he told an Almont policeman was a lie. Why don't you find? Let's start with that. Let's go. We'll end it up in court. Sure. We'll start out with this. Call Leo Hager and have him tell you.
I don't have any authority to be calling the police department asking questions about your case.
Why? You just said that you want to find out that I have to prove that a crime's been committed, and you can.
If you can prove that a crime's been committed, then you would take it up with law enforcement.
Then you take it up with law enforcement, because I can't get anyone.
I haven't had a crime committed against me.
I just told you he lied. He lied to the Almont police. The Almont police can't do anything because the case is being dealt with by the Lapeer prosecutor who can't find the file. And in the meantime,
you need to contact the prosecutor.
No. Why don't you contact the prosecutor?
I don't have an issue with the prosecutor.
You have an issue with one of your agents that lied to the Almont
I don't have
police.
any. I don't have anything that indicates that anybody lied to anybody.
Why don't you find out? Why don't you call him and find out? And then
I'm not going to spend the rest of my day calling people, asking questions.
You're not going to help. You're not going to help me at all. You're not going to help me at all. One of your agents.
I can give you phone.
No, you're going to give me phone numbers. You're going to give me phone numbers because you won't help me. You won't do your job. That's the name of the game, sir. I'm asking you to contact the state. I'm asking you to find out, investigate. Maybe I'm wrong. Why don't you investigate and then get back with me and tell me what the Almont police say? Don't you care about what your agents do?
Sir, I'm not going to contact the Almont police.
Is it okay with you for your agents to lie to the Almont police?
Nope. I don't believe anybody in the world should be lying.
Okay, then do me a favor. Sure. Then do me a favor and investigate it.
I'm not going to. I don't have an open case to investigate anything.
I'm just giving you. I'm giving you an open case. This guy lied.
No, you're not. You know how you give me an open case? You contact centralized intake.
Are you and I just told you I contacted him. There's no and the phone doesn't work. No one even called me back. Give me another number. Sir,
there is no other number, and I've gotten 100 APS referrals this morning, and so everybody else in the world's getting through, but you're not. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, I left a message, and no one's called me back. Why don't you just do your job? Why don't you do your job? And I'm reporting a crime, and I'm telling you that
I am doing my job. I'm referring you to law enforcement.
Law enforcement won't.
If a crime's been committed, then you need to contact law enforcement, sir.
And I did, and I'm getting nowhere because APS lied, because Adult Protective Services and DHHS lied to law enforcement, and they're taking their word over mine. And despite the fact that I have proof that DHHS lied to the state police and that Steve Atkinson lied to Almont police. He said that he had no idea that my water heater wasn't fixed, which is a lie.
Then provide that proof
to who?
Law enforcement. To law enforcement.
I did. You know what? Here's the deal. I'm getting run around by everybody. The entire state of Michigan government are people like you sitting around trying to hold on to your paycheck and do nothing for it.
And that's and what you and it's cheaper to ignore people and let people die off. That way, the more people that die off, the better your budget gets. You have done nothing. You're a supervisor, and I was referred to by the Almont Police, who got your name from Elaine Stoutenberg from DHHS, said that you were going to help me. There's nobody that knows what's going on. That's the problem. And you won't do anything to try to straighten it out. You're saying to call the same numbers that don't work and talk to the same people that don't know what they're doing and let you get back to your comedy channel. Are you there?
I certainly am.
Okay, let's. Why don't you three-way call and let's talk to the state. Let's call the Almont Police.
I don't have an open case. I don't have the authority to contact.
Okay. How do I get an open
anything?
How do I get an open case going when? I'll send you. You do have an open case with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. I'll send you the paperwork.
No, I do not.
Yes, you
no,
do.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
Really? It says David Lynch has an open case with them?
No, it says Department of DHHS does, and that you say that you work with DHHS and there's no difference. And I'm telling you,
if you have an issue with Civil Liberties Department, you need to contact them.
No,
if you have an issue
with
law enforcement, you need to contact them.
I have an issue with DHHS. Who? You're not listening to me, Dave.
I've been listening to you for well over an hour, sir.
Okay, why don't you do me a favor and I'll send you the document that he sent me that shows the questions that DHHS asked him to ask me. And then you find out how he got involved. I don't know. I have no idea. But I did what he told me to do, and now he dropped the ball. Then
you need to contact that department, sir.
I've done that, sir. He dropped the ball on the issue with DHHS, but the issues with DHHS are still valid, and I'll send those to you. Somebody from DHHS is working with the Department of Civil Rights. I have no idea who that is. You would have more ability to find that out than me. And I'm dealing with another department that won't do his job. This guy won't even return his phone calls.
You just said you have a supervisor's number. I would contact that supervisor.
And I've done that, and she hasn't returned my phone calls.
And contact her again.
No. Why don't you just find out who in DHHS contacted them in the first place? You work with DHHS. That's not a. It's not an unreal. Why is it so tough, Dave, for you to find out who contacted Department of Civil Rights? Somebody from your department contacted them. They didn't just make it up. I'll send you his email so you can find out who did it. And then
why don't you contact them? Is there a problem? You can't contact them? I don't understand.
Contact who?
Whoever contacted you from the Civil Rights Department or Civil Liberties or whatever you're talking about.
Are you drinking?
No, but I'm getting a little frustrated with the call, sir.
No, you're not listening to me. I just told you.
I've been listening to you for an hour and a half.
Okay, I'm asking you. Somebody from DHHS contacted Department of Civil Rights. I'm asking you to find out who did that. That somebody from your department contacted them. I'm asking you to find out who.
That would be your responsibility.
Why is it my responsibility to find out from who contacted from your department?
Because it's a case involving you.
It's a case involving DHHS. That DHHS contacted Department of Civil Rights. Now, I'm asking you to find out who from the department DHHS contacted them.
If I found out, then I can't share that information anyhow. It will be protected information. You would contact the gentleman that contacted you.
Why would it be protected information? I'm asking you to find out who contacted them in the first place. Why is that a secret?
Sir, we don't share records with people.
Sir, why is it so tough for you to find out who contacted DHHS? What, do you think I'm lying?
Why is it such a mystery? All you have to do is find out who contacted them, and then I'll contact that person. I got to find out an audit trail, because there's nothing that makes sense. I have no idea why he contacted me, but he did say, and he sent me a letter which I want to send to you so you can find out who contacted him. That's your department. What's your email address?
Sir, I'm not going to contact him and
you're going to find out. Why can't you find out who from your department contacted them?
That would be something that would be a responsibility of yours.
Why is it my responsibility that you can't tell me who did it? What, is that a secret? Why
we don't share information, sir? Yes, the information that we get is confidential information.
The contact that I need to find out is confidential.
I don't know.
Then find out. Then find out.
The person that contacted you.
The person that contacted me, like I told you, won't contact me. He's out to lunch and dropped the case. I want to find out who in DHHS initiated that case. Why can't you help me?
That would be information you get from that gentleman.
And I just told you the guy's out to lunch. He hasn't returned my calls and dropped the case and lost all the files. I'm trying to find out who in DHHS sent him that request. Why can't you help me? Why is
I'm not able to share information like that.
Then find out. You know what? You can't do anything, can you? Why is that confidential? That I'm not asking you. Why is that confidential? There's a broken link in the chain of command, and it's not my responsibility to find out why it's broken.
Okay, what is your responsibility in this case, then, sir? If you are the one that's trying to pursue all these different avenues, what is your responsibility?
I'm a recipient. I'm not. I have no responsibilities. The responsibilities are yours. That's why you get a paycheck. And I just told you. I told you somebody from your office sent the Department of Civil Rights information, and I'm asking you to find out who did it. Why is that a secret?
Sir,
why is that a secret?
Information that's if it's able to be shared, it would be shared by the gentleman that contacted you.
What I'm asking you is, I'm asking you to find out who contacted him in the first place, because this guy's out to lunch and he's lost. So I need your help to find out.
Information you get from him.
No, why? Why can't you find out who contacted DHHS or who contacted him in the first place? Why is it a mystery?
That would be his job, not mine, sir. It would be his responsibility if he's even able to share that information.
What's your boss's name, Dave? I don't want to interrupt your nap. What's your boss's name?
My boss's name is Maurice Shipp.
Okay.
SHIPP.
Now give me somebody that'll help me. I don't want somebody like you. Give me somebody that's proactive. What's the phone number?
517-575.
Wait a minute. Slow down, Dave. What is it?
517.
Yeah.
575 8555.
Okay, 517-575-8555.
Yep.
Okay, what's this person's name?
Marie Shipp.
Marie, like Marie, M-A-R-I-E?
Mm-hmm.
Shipp, S-H-I-P-P?
Yep.
Okay, and what's her title?
She's the Service Program Manager for Business Service Center 2.
Just slow down,
State of
Dave.
Michigan Adult Services.
Slow down. I can't. What is she again?
Service Program Manager.
Okay.
For Adult Services.
This is okay.
In Service Center 2.
Service Center 2.
Yep.
There's no way you're going to help me at all, Dave?
I've given you the help that I'm able to.
You haven't helped me at all, Dave. You said to call the numbers that don't work. I have this all on. I've recorded this all, Dave, and I'm going to put this on YouTube.
And Dave Lynch, 989-293-9093, Supervisor of Adult Services. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for nothing. You're going to be famous on YouTube. Bye.